Let me get my headphones. 1 2 1 2. 1 2 1 2. 1 2 1 2. This fight started way back in March of 2020.
Hold on, time out. Yeah, I'm going to get to the top 2 masks that I recommend, but I gotta tell the story. I gotta tell you where we were back in March 2020 and how we evolved our mask game to today. But before I get into it, let me tell you a little bit more about my channel, Projects and Problems. I provide a different voiceover for every video I make. Name of this channel is called Projects and Problems. I take on projects, I figure out answers, solutions to problems, I make it work. Inside the house, outside the house, with cars, with anything. Right now I'm going to get into the whole masks and let you know everything I kind of learned over the last almost 2 years. So I hope you enjoy.
I'm in New York. I remember being in the subway, commuting to work, and being told not to touch anything. I remember having a conversation with my coworker, and we were talking about how many things we touched on our commute to work. Like, that's crazy. But meanwhile, we were protecting our hands from the COVID germs. No one's talked about how to keep COVID out of your body, right? And I think I was watching the news soon after and saw over in China how they were spraying in the streets wearing full environmental garb. Like, they were suited up, spraying in the air. And at that point I said to myself, dude, this thing might be airborne. So I went to a sewing machine and I started making some masks. So let me show you what I started. So my mom taught us all how to sew, and I look back and I almost laugh at these things. I started off with like this mask, and yeah, raw and uncut inside. Look at that. I have a layer of filter material, and this was actually an old shirt that I cut. I put a little piece of hanger on the top. I fished it through, and what are the strings from? Could it be shoelaces? The strings might have been shoelaces, and that was my mask. That's how we started, right? Then I moved on to getting better material, doing a little bit better. I actually bought elastic for the ends. I was balling at this point. And I even shaped the bottom like my chin. Like, I had the best custom mask on the market. So I got the chin protector at the bottom, almost like a football player. I have this little hanger. Again, this is really hanger. When I say hanger, I mean hanger material. This is hanger material. And this is me. Yo, that was it. That was me. So now we're going back to 2020 when you really couldn't buy masks and the government didn't want you purchasing masks. They wanted you to use face coverings because they were saving the masks for emergency personnel who was going through it at that point. I know it's a little bit of story time, but I'm getting to it. So let me show you what we have next, right? So this is a surgical mask. We've seen this for years. Typically this is like a 3-ply mask. So three layers, right? And you would put this over and that would be it, right? So that's mask number 1, a surgical mask, right? 3-layer surgical mask. So recently you heard that, hey, if you are wearing face coverings, they couldn't even call this a mask, they call it a face covering. If you're wearing a face covering, then you put your surgical mask on top. All right, so that's the first thing we heard. All right. Next, we heard about, and actually I went and purchased some black surgical type masks. Surgical, right? Pretty nice actually. So I went and purchased these. I was like, we're good. And people are getting sick really quickly. And that's what I'm thinking. You know what? We have to wear a better mask. So now I'm going to get to the top 2 masks I recommend based on someone who's been messing around with masks since March of 2020. And I'll even say Friday the 13th, March 2020. So let me open up the first pack here. So this is a KN95. We've heard it, especially recently on the news. This design is made in China, right? And the 95 denotes that it filters out 95% of the particulate. Not 100, 95. And that would be a win. So here you open it. It's got the nose bridge. Put it on. Has a pretty decent fit. I mean, it fits pretty comfortably. But even with this mask on, after an hour or so, it's pretty tough to breathe. It's pretty tough. So you know what that means? That means the mask is working. It's filtering something. If it were easy to breathe, like you're not wearing a mask, you're not protecting yourself. I can't say it any plainer. Then, recently, there's another alternative. This flat mask is a KF94. So the KF is a Korean design, and the 94 denotes that it filters out 94% of the particulate. Does it make a big difference between 94% and 95%? Not at all. Not at all. I mean, none of these masks are surgical quality, so we're assuming that they're filtering out 94 and 95% of something. They're not surgical. Right? Now, this mask has a really interesting design. So it's got a little bump out for the nose bridge, and it's almost like 3 different layers. So you have the layer that goes from side to side, and then you have the nose bridge with little metal up here so you could form it around your nose, and then you have, again, a chin strap. So put it on. It takes a little bit to actually adjust it in place, right? But once you have it adjusted, man, it fits really good. And I'll tell you a funny story about this. So the first time I wore this mask, I was actually in Best Buy and I was waiting in line, and this mask was it was so easy to breathe in. I'm thinking this mask isn't doing anything. So while I was waiting in line, I ran outside to my car. I went and got my trusty KN95, which actually is a little bit thicker also. And I put that on and I felt better. I am not saying that the KN95 does a better job filtering particulate than the KF94, but this mask fits my face so well. The nose bridge, it's pulled away from my nose a little bit, which gives my lips a little bit of room to do its thing, as I speak. So my lips are not touching the mask. If you're wearing lipstick, you're not, putting your lipstick on the inside of the mask, because the fit underneath here feels really good. Oh my gosh. If I were walking, like walking a dog or walking in the park, whereas I am outdoors and I don't need that high-end quality mask, and I'm going to be wearing a mask for a long period of time, this mask is it. The KF94 is it. I can wear this mask for hours. It's so comfortable. It's not pulling my ears like my other masks will. It's got a nice fit on the nose. And I'm gonna give you some more game today. You ready? Initially, I wasn't going to include this in this video, but it's so obvious that I have to say it. Now look at me as I'm breathing. Do you see what's happening to the mask? Right? It's almost like a balloon, inflating and deflating. So that means every time I breathe, the mask is filtering, right? If I had a hole on the side of my mask, like this, see, I'm just lifting my finger up. Guess what? It's not moving because the air is going out of the hole on the side. So if you were wearing a mask, right? This is some game for you. This is worth the price of admission. If you are wearing a mask and as you inhale and exhale, it is not moving, guess what? It's not doing anything.
Time out. So the molded N95 mask that professionals wear, that does not move, and that is extremely stiff. That is the only exception. All right, let's get back to it.
So let me go back to my trusty KN mask. So even when I feel the difference in masks, the KN95, it feels a little thicker. It feels like a better quality, like it has more layers. Yeah, that's what it feels like. So when I'm in an environment like an airport or mass transportation, a place whereas I'm assuming that I'm coming in contact with germs, I'm wearing my trusty KN. And again, as I breathe, you can see, inhale, exhale, the mask is expanding and contracting. As I breathe, the air is trying to go in through this material. So the material moves in, and therefore that air is filtered. That's the whole idea of wearing a mask, is to filter your air. Again, if there is a hole on the side, that mask will never move because the air will find the path of least resistance, and that's down here, where there's nothing here. See? I want you to go try on your trusty mask and see if it's expanding and contracting. So I'm going to summarize. My top 2 masks that I trust and I wear is number 1, the KN95 design. This design feels like it's actually doing something. It gives me a sense of security that it's actually working. If I'm in a crowded place or a place that's recycling air, like an airplane, this mask makes me feel comfortable like it is working. My second choice would be my KF95 design. This design, if I needed to go walking and I'm going to be outside, but I still want it to be protected, this is the mask that I wear. This is it. This feels comfortable. My lips are not touching. Like I could be on the phone as I'm walking and talking. This is the design. So this is my second design that I recommend. So number 1, the KN95. Number 2, the KF95. Now I'm going to move on to the mask that I still see people wearing, and I do shake my head. The surgical mask, right? Let me put on the surgical mask. I'll put the blue one on so you can see what's going on. First thing I see is, this is a blue side, this is a white side. I see people wearing it on the wrong side. Does it matter? I think it does. I think it does. In my mind, I think it does. All right, so here we go. So I'm gonna put this mask on. I'm going to stretch it, adjust it to my face. I am going to pinch the nose. You must pinch the nose, right? Because you're trying to keep the airflow from going around this gap in your nose, right? The mask is moving, right? But guess what? If you even feel on the side here, yo, I've got so many gaps on both sides. This mask does not fit the contour of my face. It's not moving as much as the other masks because the air is going around the mask. So if we're trying to protect ourselves from contaminant that's airborne, right, that's flowing in the air, it will find a way around your mask. If we're trying to protect ourselves from droplets, right, that move in a droplet-like fashion, then it's okay to wear a mask like this because the droplet will hang around in the air and naturally gravity will do its thing and either move it left or right or down. So this is not a mask that I'm wearing today. My cloth mask is not a mask I'm wearing today. Even though I made these masks, I'm not wearing them today. The only masks that I am wearing today is my KN95 design and my KF95 design. All right, so we're done. We haven't even spoke about the N95. So N95, you should not be able to purchase a medical grade N95 mask in any store. You shouldn't be allowed to do that. Those are all reserved for emergency medical. But you can purchase a, what is this called? What grade? It's a painting mask, a respirator type mask, right? So you can purchase 3M. Makes the N95 paper itself. Look at that. You can buy these from the big box stores, right? So if I had a choice of all the masks, and I'm gonna take this one out. This one, oh my gosh. I'm gonna do a quick review on this mask, albeit a respirator paint mask. Let's see what this feels like. Oh my gosh. All right, so right out of the pack, I'll tell you, it's 2 in the pack, and it wasn't cheap. Like, I've seen them selling 10 in the box. This one is an N95 respirator mask, but it's not medical grade. Not medical grade. All right, so this one's got like rubber. Is this rubber? Like rubber band? It's like a rubber material. So I'm assuming one goes, they both go above over your head, and it's got the clip for the mask. Let's put this on and see what this feels like. I don't think I could do it. Can I get this over my head? Oh my gosh. What is going on? Is this a joke? Ouch. What is going on? I can't get this over my head. And how am I supposed to get this over my head? Are there instructions that come with this? Oh, this isn't even funny. All right, let's try this again. Just in case if I decide to remove that footage earlier. This is the N95 mask, and let me try and put this over my head. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Yo. Oh my gosh. Oh, this is real. Oh my gosh. I got so much pull over here. I've got the other strap over here, and it is pulling to my face. The reason why it's pulling so hard to your face is to prevent a gap between the mask and your face. So if I wear this mask for 30 minutes and when I take it off, there should be an indentation of where this mask was touching my face all around my face. That's what should happen. Now the mask itself is not moving as I inhale and exhale because the filter material is a lot thicker. It's not going to move. It's almost like built in a mold. And you know what? I can probably tell you that this mask may not be a bad option either. I will tell you that it is much better than this 3-ply surgical type mask, or this one, much better. And I don't know how it fares with the KN95 or the KF94, but what I can tell you is the fact that these straps are so tight. Oh my gosh. That makes a huge difference. It's really pulling. And if you were emergency medical and you have to wear this mask for 8 hours, that's the first thing you talk about is, oh my gosh, I cannot breathe in this mask because it is so tight. That's what's happening here. So you have to go to a doctor's appointment. You have to go somewhere where you're going to be high traffic. You want to wear a mask that properly fits your face. Did you know that there's actually a test that medical personnel have to take with their mask to make sure it fits properly? During this test, there's actually a smell ingredient. Like if I put this scent around you and you can smell it, your mask is failing. The fitment is not good. Right? So if we have a mask like the surgical mask, there is no way a surgical mask alone will pass a fit test or will pass a smell test. It won't happen. So I don't know about you, but when it comes to, let me take this off first of all before I get into that. Oh boy. Is there an indentation? Ooh. So I don't know about you, but if I cannot buy the same mask that our medical professional and emergency medical professionals wear, I need the next best option. And the next best option is a KN95 and a KF94. Not a surgical mask by itself, and definitely not any mask that you can... This is another one. This is a mask that I used to wear. It is so comfortable, easy to breathe, but guess what? It's cloth, cotton. I'm gonna wear a mask that offers me the same protection or close to it as emergency personnel. The day I see doctors walking around and the day I see medical personnel walking around again with this mask in a COVID environment, then I'll feel a little bit better. I'll probably still wear my mask, but all right, that's all I have. I appreciate you all for listening. I really did not plan on talking about masks for so long, but the next part of my mask journey will be to do somewhat of a smell test using the 5 different masks that I presented today. I'm gonna have some sage and do a smell test. Tune in for that. And again, thank you all for hanging out and listening to me rant about masks.